Hello young artists, welcome back to the art studio. Mr. Guera here again, and today we are going to get started right away working collaboratively. That's right, we're going to start this next art project and work together to make a collage that's been inspired by the famous pop artist Keith Haring. I've already gotten a start with this one, and we will be using this frame, but first you might need to know how to put this bad boy together, so go ahead and get out your pencils. Let's get started. For this project, we'll need a piece of paper, a pencil, a black marker or a Sharpie, some regular coloring markers, 2 will do just fine, an eraser, some Scotch tape, and a pair of scissors. Alright, so we're going to start off with a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's facing portrait. The first thing we got to do is we have to fold this bad boy in half, hamburger style. So that means from top to bottom. We're going to very carefully fold it down, and we're going to pay attention in particular to the corners. You got to make sure those corners are perfectly lined up before you crease that fold, because once you crease that fold, it's too late. I'm going to start by using my fingers, but if you really want a crisp crease, you can use the edge of your scissors that you have there. You can also use the edge of a pencil to make it just such a nice, crisp fold. Now let's go ahead and open back up our paper and turn it landscape. This is going to make our paper folded down the middle, and we're going to have 2 perfectly symmetrical and equal halves. We are now going to draw 2 Keith Haring inspired figures, one on each side of the fold. And if you haven't noticed already, Haring figures are almost always very active and loaded with movement. They even have lines of motion that make them seem like they're wiggling and jumping and getting their groove on. After Keith Haring graduated from high school, he noticed kids on the streets breakdancing and was inspired by the interesting shapes their bodies would take. And in the same way, I want you to draw your 2 figures in poses that are active and express motion. And remember, use the lion's share of the paper. And what I mean by that is that you want to use a lot of the paper, most of it, not too big and not too small. Draw your figures so that they take up most of the space on either side of your paper. Got it? Good. In this next part, I'm going to teach you step by step how to draw your first Keith Haring figure. Only I'm going to draw it with a Sharpie, and you, as the student, should definitely be doing it in pencil. That way you can erase any accidental mistakes. Alright, so now that you have the general idea of what we're going to do, let's go through one together step by step. First, let's make the head. Draw a nice round circle, but don't complete it. Keith Haring heads always leave the bottom of the head open. Draw a vertical or diagonal line going up with a loop out and to the left for a hand. Bring that arm back down into a sweeping curve that ends up right into the back of your figure's knee. Notice how I am leaving some space at the bottom of the paper for feet. I'm going to now draw a line down and diagonally to the left. Make another half circle, kind of a bubbling out for the foot. Diagonally up and to the right, and that's going to kind of be my shin and knee for my character. And then diagonally back up and to the left. A nice horizontal line going right. You can go either straight vertical down or diagonal to the left. Bubble out for foot number 2. Draw a vertical line going up and to the right. I'm going to do another parallel horizontal line to connect the knee to the body. A tiny vertical line going up. Another vertical line going up and to the right and then down. Bubble out for the hand. And finish that arm with a vertical line going up. Horizontal line going to the left and meeting the head. Your next step is to concentrate using a steady hand and trace over your pencil lines using a black marker or Sharpie. And after you are done inking, go ahead and erase any extra pencil lines that you see. It is now time to apply some color. Like all pop artists, Keith Haring liked to use bright colors along with his thick outlines, so go ahead and choose any two colors that you like and fill in your figures. If you finished coloring both of your Haring figures and are waiting for others to catch up, go ahead and trace around the outline of your figures again. This will thicken what we call the stroke or outline, and that's going to help your work to look a lot more like Keith Haring's. Choose one of your figures and add in some fun lines of motion. Depending on what lines you use and where near your figure you place them, you can really add that sense of movement that I was talking about earlier. Now cut your paper in half. The figure that you added the lines of movement to, you get to keep. Take that home with you and remember, write your name on the back of your work. As for that other figure, go ahead and carefully cut out that figure around the perimeter of its outline. See now why you only drew lines of motion on one of them? Once you've cut out your Haring figure, bring it to the frame. Using very small pieces of tape, you can attach your artwork either to the frame itself or to another student's figure. And that's how we make a Keith Haring collage. I can't wait to see it when it's done. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Keith Haring, I suggest this book. It's called Keith Haring, The Boy Who Just Kept Drawing, and it was written by his sister, K.A. Haring. It's a great book, highly recommended. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I want you to keep creative and don't forget to rock on with your smock on. I'm Mr. Guera, and I'll see you guys next time.